He's a tough man to tackle.
He certainly is. Well, it's also that pesky thing called, hey, Lamar Jackson's pretty good at quarterback. Now, again, not a terrible night for the Chargers. It's year one of the process. They need themselves 2 or 3 Zay Flowers. But this is about Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. Now 10-1 he is. Last 3 years after a loss, 16 touchdowns, 4 picks in those games. He is relentless. He can beat you over the top. He can beat you with his legs. He can beat you underneath. You can't get a hold of him. But yet at 27 years old, by the way, MJ didn't win a title until he was 27 years old. But Lamar Jackson, whatever it is, everybody wants to make definitive statements about Lamar Jackson at 27. New rule. When anybody in any career, it can be comedy, screenwriting, tightrope walking, athletics. If anybody's great at 27, I'd scale back on the definitive statements. They're going to eventually break through. Yeah, Michael Jordan's first title, 27. You want to know how many Super Bowls Drew Brees and Peyton Manning had at 27 combined? 0. Bagel. Nada. Nothing. Be careful. You can make definitive statements on a bust. Quentin Johnson can't catch. There's my definitive statement for the Chargers' first-round receiver pick last year. He can't catch consistently. But everybody's trying to define a great 27-year-old pro athlete. So that's the first thing. His work ethic, he's the soul of the team. You're wasting your breath. You can define people at 27 if they don't have a work ethic, they're not that talented, they don't have any career momentum. He's not the guy you want to do that to. The second part of this story is the Chargers will probably look more like Baltimore in a couple of years. They're step one of the process. But what has Baltimore done? Baltimore's done what Buffalo's done. They keep adding elements to help their superstar quarterback so he didn't have to be Superman. So a couple years ago, you're like, they could really use some help at receiver. Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is great. You can get him on a drag route. 8-yard completion, 38-yard gain. You can get Zay Flowers over the top. And then they add Derrick Henry, who, it's hard to bring down. It's like James Cook and Dalton Kincaid for Josh Allen. You want to have a superstar quarterback. You don't want him to have to do it by himself in every big game.
Okay, let's talk about this. There's Colin's getting pretty interesting with this whole cutoff point at 27 years old. Listen, this is the problem when you give all the praise and all of the blame for winning and losing to quarterbacks. It's that simple. That's why so many people come at Lamar Jackson. Obviously, you're going to have some haters who are just not going to like Lamar, or they're a Mahomes fan or a Raven or a Allen fan, or whatever some other top quarterback in the NFL is. And so by virtue, they just then want to hate on Lamar. We see this with Lamar fans hating on Mahomes or whatever. But if you're talking about it from a more balanced fan approach, or even media or whatever, the problem is outside of people that actually understand football and understand the game and aren't biased or haters or whatever, you ask, why have the Ravens not won a Super Bowl in the last 4, 5, 6 years? Whatever, however long Lamar's been playing. They'll say, Lamar Jackson, he's not good enough. Patrick Mahomes is good enough. Matthew Stafford was good enough. Tom Brady's good enough, obviously. They'll name all the quarterbacks who have won Super Bowls. And that's always that back and forth. Why did they not win the AFC Championship game last year with Lamar Jackson? Everyone always says, oh, he made that throw in the end zone. Was that coaching? Was that because he didn't have help? And then they forget all of the other laundry list of stuff. So that's why it just always piles on to Lamar. Why there's that constant, endless back and forth. It's this hyper obsession with everything falls on quarterbacks. And Colin talks about that, though. Colin is the one that says the quarterback, being a quarterback, wins and losses are a quarterback stat. I mean, he talks about that. He's a proponent of that. His whole thing is always pick the better quarterback versus the other quarterback, and that team's going to win majority of the times. So that's kind of the problem. But the reality is they started off this game leaving Lamar on an island. and their offense wasn't getting anywhere. Then when they built their game on the foundation of running, Lamar was able to get settled in, the offense was able to get settled in, and they obviously won very convincingly. I mean, that score is not even really fully representative. This was really kind of like a two-score game, and it was obvious that the Ravens were in control of that game. I mean, Derrick Henry was a beast. I mean, obviously the team was 37 carries, 212 yards, 5.7 yards per carry. Henry was 24 carries for 140 yards. Lamar Jackson was 16 for 22, 177 yards, 8 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, and a 126 rating. So again, because look, think about the way I know I'm right is because look how this segment even started. It was immediately to Lamar. It was immediately about Lamar. Because the question is, Baltimore most potent offense in the NFL. And yet it's just like, well, let's just talk about Lamar. Now, Lamar is obviously the big reason why you're going to talk about the Ravens. I'm not disputing that. And I've defended Lamar. Like, make no mistake about it. This is me, like, defending Lamar right now. But I think it's so important to start to look at teams from a more complete lens and stop with the hyper focus on just one singular player or quarterback, quite honestly. I think what Lamar has done has been very, very special. And this game obviously made some beautiful plays, beautiful throws. I love when he's able to strike that balance and get everyone kind of pretty much off balance, actually, in terms of defense, when it's kind of like that in between, like, am I going to run or am I just going to, do a nice little soft little pass? And it's just like over the years, he's really, really mastered that. And that's just like when you have defenses just not sure what's about to happen in that moment. I mean, that's when you're just going to be able to pick them apart, right? That allows Lamar to be more surgical. I've been just saying Lamar needs to be more surgical. And when you're only going to, throw the ball 16 for 22, 177 yards, that allows you to be more surgical. This game felt, and this is the way how I've also been screaming for the Ravens, is so you have different variations, right? You have some teams that pass actually to set up the run. We always hear, you run to set up the pass. There's some teams that set up that pass to set up the run. And then you obviously have teams that will run to set up the pass. But what I felt like that the Ravens did was what they should do is, we're not running to set up anything. We're running because we're beasts and we can. And because we do got a bully in Derrick Henry, and obviously Lamar can rip off a run at any moment as well. And we are just going to run, and until you prove to stop it, we are going to keep doing it. And if you want to double down and try to really take away that run, well, then Lamar will be able to pick you apart in the air. But it's just the intentionality of just saying, we are going to run the ball. Run. And there is no extra layer to it. That is the foundation of who we are. And if you really truly think you can go all in on stopping that run, by all means go do it. We will be able to throw the ball 45 yards down the field for a massive gain. Then congrats on giving that up. Or Lamar will rip it off, or we'll just get more creative running. Like, I think the Ravens always find themselves in trouble when they're just like, we're just going to pass. And again, it's not to say that Lamar can't throw the ball. He obviously can. But it's just not the foundation of what this team should be. Because you could see, watch the way how this game started to unfold. When it felt like that they were just pass-centered, they couldn't get things going. When they started handing the ball off and playing bully ball, because that is who the Baltimore Ravens can be, is a bunch of bullies. When they bully teams, they win convincingly. They dominate. The other team looks like they're not really in it, and then it puts so much pressure on the other team, and you wear down defenses. So when they can stay consistent with their identity and their game plan, this team can be so much better. But the problem is also consistent with their identity. They had 9 penalties for over 100 yards. I mean, it's just crazy to me. They had the most penalties going into this game, most total penalties and penalty yards, and they played on Monday. So they had a whole day of games, that were played on Thursday and Sunday. And yet they still led in penalties. Now, I'm sure, obviously, they're leading even more now with 9 penalties and 100. I mean, it's just insane. That is honestly insane how they have not cleaned this up. And I've been saying this also for months at this point now. If you think you're going to be able to get away with that in the playoffs, you're in for a rude awakening. If you think you can give up 102 yards in penalties, you're in for a rude awakening. If you're going to be able to do that in the AFC Championship game, where the margins are going to be slim, millimeters, inches. That's to me what continues to be one of the most frustrating things about this team, and why when they win, because I don't get whiplash. I don't, when they lost to the Steelers or whoever, I'm not like, oh my God, this team's awful. They're not good. They have no chance. And when they win big, I'm not like, oh, see, that's who they are. They're dominant. They're unstoppable. I'm constantly trying to be like, who are the Baltimore Ravens? And to me, the Baltimore Ravens are a top team in the NFL. Absolutely ready to just unleash you. They're easily, to me, one of the most scariest teams in the NFL because of Lamar Jackson, because of Derrick Henry. But their inability to be a finely tuned machine is probably what makes me more uncomfortable than the dangerousness and the potency of the Ravens, of Lamar, of Henry, of Flowers, of whoever. It's that inability to be like, I trust this team to be able to execute at the highest level. Do I trust them to be able to execute at the highest level? Or do I trust them to leave Lamar Jackson on an island and hope that he can find a way back to shore? Because that's what it feels like. That's honestly what it feels like. Why are people so hard on Lamar Jackson? Actually, the better answer is this. Why are people so quick to draw conclusions and to, be hard on Lamar and tell him what he's not? Because the Baltimore Ravens have consistently left him out to dry. The same reason why people are all down on Josh Allen. Because it's a very similar thing. And it's why I've probably made at this point, I mean, gosh knows how many videos where I have to say that statement again and again and again. That's why people reach those conclusions. Because he's constantly left on an island, and they say, oh, well, he can't find his way home. Clearly, he's not good enough. Which is wrong. That is an illusion. That is an illusion wrapped up in delusion. And I've been trying to pop bubbles in it. Successfully sometimes. Not so successfully other times. So we will see. But a game like this will frustrate. I mean, again, if you're a Ravens fan, this should actually frustrate you. That you can win this game, be in control of this game, start to finish, run the ball, allow Lamar Jackson to be surgical, to be effortlessly efficient and effective and impactful, and be like, why are we not doing this in every single game? And also, even in the games when we look really good, why do we have so many penalties? Why is it that every single game we play, we are nearly double-digit penalties? I mean, seriously. It's just, it's like, again, you got to shake this team and say, what are you doing? There's too much at stake here. Stop it. It's like being married to like Margot Robbie, and yet you're out there flirting with other people. It's like, what are you doing? You got Margot Robbie at home saying, hey, babe, want to come over and watch a movie? And you're out there doing God knows what. It's like, what are you doing? You got the potency. You got Lamar. You got Derrick Henry. You got the team. You got it. What are you doing? That's what it feels to me. Just want to shake them. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Baltimore Ravens? Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. Do you think Baltimore is the most potent offense in the NFL? I don't know where we come up with this. 1 minute, it's like, who's the scariest team? Who's got the most potent? Who's the most complete team? Who's got the best roster? It's like just all different words to kind of pretty much try to like, highlight an individual team. It's always funny to me. Like, how are we defining potency, right? Like, I don't even know. But let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something where we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be a part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.